Do not just toss cilantro in the fridge and hope it stays fresh. That is the mistake that makes it wilt faster than you think. In this video, I will show you a few simple but very effective ways to keep your cilantro green, fragrant, and fresh for many days, even up to a week. These are easy methods anyone can do right at home. So if you often buy cilantro only to find it turning yellow before you use it, you will want to see what comes next. The very first step to keeping your cilantro fresh is to prepare it properly. Start by removing any wilted leaves, old roots, or damaged stems. These parts break down faster and can actually cause the rest of the bunch to spoil more quickly. By trimming them away right at the beginning, you give your cilantro a much better chance to last longer. Next, give the cilantro a quick rinse under cold running water. This helps wash away dirt, dust, and even tiny insects that might be hiding in the leaves. Keep it gentle so you do not bruise the delicate stems. By the way, I would love to know, where are you watching this video from? Leave a comment below and let me know. After rinsing, place the cilantro on a clean paper towel or a soft kitchen cloth. Gently pat it dry to remove as much water as possible. Excess moisture is one of the biggest reasons herbs wilt, so make sure it is completely dry before moving on to the next step. Now that your cilantro is clean and completely dry, it is time to wrap it for storage. Start by cutting a piece of aluminum foil large enough to cover the entire bunch. Lay the foil flat on a clean surface so it is ready to use. Next, place your cilantro right in the center of the foil. Make sure the leaves and stems are spread naturally, not bunched up too tightly. When you fold the foil over, wrap it snugly but not too tight. You want the bundle to be fully enclosed while still leaving just enough space for the herbs to breathe. If you press it down too firmly, the stems can bruise and shorten their freshness. The key here is that the foil blocks out light and helps keep the moisture level balanced. Too much light or excess moisture will make the cilantro wilt faster. By wrapping it this way, you create a dark and stable environment that keeps the leaves green and fragrant. Once wrapped, place the bundle in your refrigerator's main compartment, not near the freezer section. Avoid putting it close to the coldest spots where ice crystals might form, because that can damage the delicate leaves. And here is something important. You do not need to add any plastic bag or extra wrap. The foil alone is enough to protect the herbs. With this method, cilantro can stay fresh for more than 10 days, holding on to both its bright color and its signature aroma. This is a simple trick, but it makes a huge difference if you love using cilantro in your meals. Now let's move on to the second method, which is a little different but just as effective. Start by taking a clean pair of kitchen scissors or a sharp knife and trim off about 1/2 inch to 1 inch from the old roots at the bottom of the cilantro. This step is very important because just like when you trim the stems of fresh flowers, it helps the roots take in water more easily. By refreshing the ends, you're giving the cilantro a much better chance to stay hydrated and healthy. Next, prepare a glass cup or a small jar. Place the bunch of cilantro upright in the cup with the stem standing in the bottom and the leaves resting above the rim. Now, pour in clean water until it covers only about 1 to 1.5 inches of the root area. You do not want to overfill the cup, because if the stems are sitting too deep in water, they can soften and rot faster. Keeping the water level shallow is just enough to give the roots what they need without damaging the plant. Once the cilantro is in place, take a food-safe plastic bag and gently cover the leaves from the top down. Do not press the bag tightly over the cilantro. Instead, secure it loosely around the rim of the glass or jar, leaving plenty of room for air circulation. This helps prevent the leaves from becoming too damp or suffocated. Think of it as creating a mini greenhouse that keeps in just the right amount of humidity while still letting the herbs breathe. Now place the entire setup into the refrigerator, again making sure it stays in the main compartment and not near the freezer section. The cold air around the freezer could damage the delicate leaves and cause them to darken or wilt prematurely. With this method, your cilantro will have a continuous supply of water, allowing the stems to stay firm and the leaves to remain green and vibrant. They will be much less likely to dry out or droop. Just remember one small but crucial step replace: the water every 2 days. Fresh water prevents bacteria buildup and keeps the roots healthy. When done correctly, this method can keep your cilantro fresh and aromatic for up to 2 full weeks. It is almost like treating your herbs the way you would treat cut flowers, giving them the care they need to last longer. This approach takes just a little extra effort, but if you use cilantro often in your cooking, it is absolutely worth it. Now let's move on to the third method, which is one of the simplest and most convenient ways to store cilantro. Start by taking a dry paper towel and wrapping it gently around the bunch of cilantro. This layer of paper towel works like a moisture control system. It absorbs any remaining dampness on the leaves and stems, preventing them from becoming soggy or slimy. At the same time, it helps keep just the right amount of natural moisture inside, so the cilantro does not dry out too quickly. Once the cilantro is wrapped, place the bundle into a zip-top bag. Before sealing the bag, press out as much air as possible. Removing excess air slows down the natural wilting process and helps the herbs stay fresher for longer. After sealing, you can also place the bag into a container if you want to give it some extra protection, but the bag alone is usually enough. Finally, store the bag in the refrigerator's main compartment. With this method, cilantro can keep its green color and distinctive aroma for about 5 to 7 days. It is not quite as long-lasting as the foil or water jar method, but it is quick, easy, and perfect if you only need to keep your herbs fresh for a shorter period of time. This approach is especially handy when you want ready-to-use cilantro for your cooking throughout the week. Finally, let's look at the last method, which is freezing your cilantro for long-term use. The very first step here is to make sure your cilantro is completely dry. Pat it thoroughly with a paper towel and then let it sit for a few extra minutes to air dry. This step is very important because if any water remains, the cilantro will form ice crystals in the freezer and lose both its texture and its flavor. Once it is dry, take a clean knife and cut the cilantro into small pieces. You can chop it finely or simply cut it into short segments, depending on how you usually cook with it. By the way, have you subscribed to the channel yet? If not, go ahead and subscribe so you do not miss more helpful kitchen tips like this one. Next, prepare a clean ice cube tray. Place the chopped cilantro into each section, filling them about halfway. Then, pour in a little olive oil on top. The oil not only locks in the fresh aroma of the cilantro, but also makes it much easier to use later when you drop the cubes straight into soups, stir-fries, or sauces. After filling the tray, place it in the freezer until the cubes are completely solid. Once frozen, you can pop the cubes out and transfer them into a zip-top bag or an airtight container. This saves space and makes it easy to grab exactly the amount you need. With this freezing method, your cilantro can stay fresh and flavorful for 1 to 2 months without losing too much of its aroma. It is the perfect solution if you want to keep herbs ready on hand for cooking, even when they are out of season or hard to find fresh. And that's 5 simple and effective ways to keep your cilantro fresh much longer than usual. Whether you prefer wrapping it in foil, storing it in water, or freezing it for months, each method gives you more time to enjoy its bright flavor in your cooking. Try out the one that fits your routine best, and you will never have to throw away wilted cilantro again. If you found these tips helpful, make sure to like this video, share it with a friend, and subscribe for more easy kitchen tricks.